Welcome back to Rock Your Healthy Habits Challenge. This is step number 3, direct your compass. In this video, we are going to get a little bit more narrowed down. So after you've visited Pleasure Island and envisioned Pleasure Island, you're probably going to feel expansive and wide. And it's like, yes, I can envision this. This could be me. This could be great. And then in this video, when we set our goals, we're going to narrow that down a little bit more, and we're getting more fiery and directed. So if you're starting to feel contracted as you're going through this process of setting your goals, please know that that's okay. We have to go through this fiery, transformative process of directing our efforts. The reason I want to guide you through defining your goals, and in fact, we're going to create 3 wildly important goals for the next 90 days, is because once you have goals, it will be much easier to direct your actions towards where you want to go. It's more likely that you actually reach your goal of Pleasure Island. So what I would like for you to do is take out your workbook yet again and go back to where you drew and where you wrote your Pleasure Island, all those things that you want, and highlight 3 things that stick out for you. Just intuitively scan over the page and mark 3 words or phrases that jump out at you. You know, for some of you that may be, hey, I want to lose weight. For some of you, maybe I want to be more patient and loving. For some of you, maybe I want to increase my level of self-love. For some of you, maybe, hey, I want to get a grip on my digestive challenges. Hey, I want to reverse the diagnosis that I got from my doctor the other day about diabetes. Whatever it may be, just mark the 3 things that jump out at you. So pause this video now and do that now. I trust that you paused the video and did that action step. You will need it to take the next action step. The next action step you're going to take is define our wildly important goals more clearly. But before we do so, we need to talk a little bit about the 3 layers of behavior change so you understand why it is so important to set goals and what else is going to be involved in order to change your habits long term. So I'm going to hide behind my computer now for a minute, and I will see you just shortly. There are 3 layers of behavior change, and we need to shift ourselves in all of these 3 areas in order to create a positive outcome. So James Clear, who is a habit-changing scientist, or rather writer and journalist actually, who writes about habit-changing science, distinguishes these 3 levels: its identity, its habits, and its outcome. In other words, our identity is about what we believe. Our habits are about what we do, and our outcomes are what we get. We need to have some level of clarity, or we need to work on some level with all of those 3 layers in order to create lasting change. Now, if at any point you've told someone, hey, I want to lose weight, they probably told you you need to be more specific. And that is true, because we need to be clear about the outcome. And as I said, we need to direct the arrow very clearly towards what part of Pleasure Island we want to go towards. At the same time, we also need to change our habits and our identity. So in this video, we are focusing on the outcome. And then in the next video, in the next step, we are actually focusing on your identity. So in terms of your outcome, what we now need to do, you have marked and highlighted 3 wildly important goals for yourself. We need to now define them more clearly so that you can direct the arrow towards that specific part of Pleasure Island. And if you've ever worked in corporate America, you're probably familiar with SMART goals. Now, if you haven't, I'll explain it to you here, and you can then pull out your worksheet and write out your 3 wildly important goals. So let's take the example of losing weight, because that's a very easy example to take and many people can relate to it. So let's say you just say, I want to lose weight. Well, if we want to make that goal SMART, it's not very specific. Losing weight is not specific. It doesn't tell you, well, how much you want to lose and what time frame you want to lose it. Yes, it tells you about losing weight, but maybe where do you want to lose weight? So you want to be more specific. So for example, if you say I want to lose 10 pounds, it's more specific than just I want to lose weight. Your goal should be measurable. So in other words, with weight, it's very easy. You can stand on a scale and say, today I weigh 80 pounds, but my ideal weight is 60 pounds. So you can say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's a measurable way of putting it. Now, there may be some goals that you have that are not very easily measurable because they're not very objective. So let's say you want to increase your level of self-love. And your self-love is at a level 2 right now, and that's subjective, of course. You could say, hey, I want to increase my level of self-love from a 2 to a 4. Then in that way, something that's quote unquote not measurable becomes measurable. And of course it's subjective and intuitive, but really that's what it's about anyway. We can't measure happiness or self-love or patience or what else is there, all those joy. We can't measure that per se, but we can subjectively feel that. So you want to define your goal in a way that's measurable. You want your goal to be achievable. So in other words, hey, losing 50 pounds in 10 weeks is really not attainable. But what may be attainable is 10 pounds in 10 weeks. And the amount that you choose is really subjective again. For some of you, you are gung-ho and you're action takers, and losing 20 pounds in 10 weeks may be possible. Maybe you're planning on a raw food diet and you're going to exercise tons and you have 10 weeks off of work and you're going to go on vacation and you're going to spend all your time and effort on losing that weight. But if you continue working and you do other things in your daily life in the next 10 weeks, then losing 10 pounds in 10 weeks may be much more attainable. Is it relevant? Wow, is the goal relevant to who you want to become? I remember a while back, I'm practicing Kung Fu, and they keep talking about gun shooting, the gun shooting range. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I should probably experience shooting a gun because I'm practicing Kung Fu and we're practicing defending against guns, and I should probably know how a gun works and how you're shooting it and this and that, And it seemed like a good idea at the time. But then when I actually really sat with my overall goals for the year and the overall goals of who I want to become, like more compassionate, more kind, more loving. I'm not exactly living in a very dangerous environment either, so there's not really a reason for me to train that. It wasn't really a relevant goal for me to learn how to shoot a gun. So that was discarded, and something more relevant. I chose something more relevant. So you want to make sure it's relevant to who you want to become. Like losing weight, maybe you're actually quite happy with your weight and you don't want to really lose it for who you want to become, but maybe you do. So that kind of like you're digging into the deeper aspects of your desires. And then you want to make it time bound. Tell the universe when you want it by. Hey, I want to lose that weight in 10 weeks, and then you know what actions you need to take to get there. Maybe you want to increase your level of self-love from a 2 to a 6, and you want that by the end of the year. And that's great, but make it time bound. And what I encourage you to do is make these SMART goals not for the year, but actually make the SMART goals for 90 days. The reason is this. Our mind, if you think about the end of 2019, 2020, or 2021, it's much harder. The further away that goal or that end point is, the harder it is for us to imagine what it might be like, and the harder it is for us to actually take action because it's too far away. And it's like, oh yeah, that's 12 months away, 24 months away, like 36 months away. Far, far too far away. But 90 days is quite graspable. And if you know anything about, how the year runs, we have 2 solstices and 2 equinoxes, and they create these 4 quadrants. And so it makes a lot of sense to make a 90-day sort of a goal that we work towards. So what I would encourage you to do right now is pull out your worksheets, your Rock Your Healthy Habits worksheets, and write down your 3 wildly important goals and make them SMART. All right, and then also please share them on our Facebook forum, and hey, and then we can have a conversation about that. So I'm glad you're here, and in the next video, what are we going to focus on? We're going to focus on the 3 foolproof strategies on how to shift habits long term. It's going to be super fun. You know, you've learned in this video already the 3 layers: the identity, the process, and the outcome, or the identity, the habit, and the outcome. And we're going to dig more into how you're going to shift your identity, because that's really ultimately where it's at. You need to become a new person in order to reach your health goals and to break through your health blocks. So until then, bye for now. I'm so glad you are with me here.